Maria worked as a waitress in a small cafe in a quiet town. The cafe was not fancy, but it was a place where people came to enjoy coffee, sandwiches, and friendly talk. Maria loved her job because she liked meeting different people every day. She was always smiling and kind to everyone who walked in. She believed that even small acts of kindness could make someone's day better. Every afternoon, around the same time, an old man would come to the cafe. He was a quiet man who walked slowly with the help of a cane. He wore a faded jacket and an old hat that looked like it had seen many years. The old man always sat by the window near the corner table. He didn't say much, but he had a gentle look in his eyes. Maria noticed him right away. She saw how he looked tired, but he tried not to complain. Most days, the old man ordered a small cup of tea or sometimes just a glass of water. He never asked for much, and sometimes he didn't order anything at all. Maria wondered why he came if he didn't order much food. One cold afternoon, the weather outside was gray and windy. The sky was cloudy, and the wind made the leaves dance on the sidewalks. Maria was busy taking orders and serving food, but her eyes kept going back to the old man. He was sitting quietly, looking out the window, his hands wrapped around a cup of tea. Maria noticed that his hands were shaking a little, maybe because of the cold. She felt something in her heart. She wanted to do something for him, but was not sure what. Then she remembered that he had been coming every day for a while now. Maybe he was lonely, or maybe he didn't have much money to buy food. Maria decided that today she would offer him something something warm and filling. After finishing her work for a moment, Maria went to the kitchen and asked the chef to prepare a hot meal. She chose a simple plate, some soup, bread, and a small sandwich. It was not expensive, but it was good and comforting food for a cold day. Maria carefully carried the plate and walked over to the old man's table. He looked up at her with surprise when she placed the food in front of him. "This is for you," she said softly. "It's on me. Please enjoy." The old man's eyes filled with tears. He tried to say thank you, but the words came out slowly. Maria smiled and sat down at a nearby table watching him eat. For the first time that day, the old man ate with a little more joy. His hands stopped shaking so much as he ate the warm soup. Some customers noticed what Maria had done. They whispered quietly to each other. Many of them felt touched by her kindness. The cafe was usually just a place to eat, but today, it felt like a place where people cared. After finishing the meal, the old man looked at Maria again. "Thank you," he said with a soft voice. "I'm a veteran. I served in the army a long time ago. It means a lot that someone remembers us." Maria felt honored and humbled. She never asked him about his past, but now she understood a little more. The old man's story was a reminder that behind every face there was a life full of memories, struggles, and courage. Days passed, and Maria continued to see the old man come to the cafe. Sometimes she brought him a small treat or helped him with his coat when he left. They didn't talk much, but a quiet friendship grew between them. One day, Maria's coworker noticed what she was doing. "Are you sure you should be giving him free food?" her coworker asked. "The manager doesn't like that." Maria nodded but didn't say much. She believed that kindness was more important than rules sometimes. She knew the cafe had policies, but she thought those policies should not stop her from helping someone in need. The old man never asked for help. He was proud and humble. But Maria saw the truth in his eyes. He needed a friend. One afternoon, the old man brought a small photo with him. He showed it to Maria quietly. It was a picture of him in his army uniform, standing with his friends. "These were good days," he said softly. "I don't have many people left now. Thank you for being kind." Maria smiled and promised herself to always remember that day. The cafe was more than just a place to eat for Maria and the old man. It became a place where kindness lived, even in small moments. Maria didn't expect anything in return. She just wanted to make a difference, even if it was just for one person. As the days went by, more customers began to notice the old man. Some brought him small gifts, Others offered warm greetings. The quiet man who once came alone now felt like he belonged somewhere. Maria's simple act of feeding the old veteran was a small thing, but it had a big impact. It showed how a little kindness could light up a person's life. She didn't know then that her kindness would soon lead to a bigger story, one that would touch many hearts and bring a community together. Maria was happy to help the old veteran, but not everyone at the cafe felt the same way. The manager, Mr. Thompson, was a serious man who cared a lot about the cafe's money. He wanted the business to make more profit and believed that every meal should be paid for. When he heard that Maria had been giving food to the veteran without asking for money, he was upset. One afternoon, Mr. Thompson called Maria into his small office behind the kitchen. The room was quiet, and Maria could feel her heart beating fast. She had a feeling this conversation would not be easy. "Maria," Mr. Thompson began, "I heard you have been giving free meals to the old man who comes here." His voice was calm but firm. Maria nodded. "Yes, sir. I wanted to help him. He is a veteran, and sometimes he doesn't have enough money. I thought a warm meal would make him feel better." Mr. Thompson sighed. "I understand you want to be kind, but the cafe has rules. We can't just give food away for free. It costs money and we have bills to pay. If I let this happen, others might expect the same." Maria looked down, feeling caught between her kindness and the rules. "I didn't want to cause any trouble," she said softly. Mr. Thompson shook his head. "It's not about trouble. It's about running a business. You need to follow the rules, or there will be consequences." The next day, Maria noticed that the atmosphere in the cafe had changed. The manager was watching her closely, and the other workers seemed quieter. Word had spread that Maria might be in trouble. Maria tried to keep doing her job with a smile, but inside she felt worried. She didn't want to lose her job, but she also didn't want to stop helping the veteran. Meanwhile, the old man continued to come to the cafe. He still sat by the window looking tired but grateful when Maria brought him a meal. He never asked for anything, but Maria could see the hope in his eyes whenever she smiled at him. One afternoon, as Maria served coffee to the regular customers, she overheard a conversation between two co-workers. "Did you hear?" one said quietly. "Maria is going to be fired if she keeps giving away free food." The other nodded, looking sad. "She was only trying to help. It's not fair." Maria's heart sank. She knew her kindness might cost her the job she loved, but she did not regret what she had done. Helping the veteran was more important to her than anything else. Later that day, Mr. Thompson called Maria again. This time, his tone was serious. "Maria, I have to let you go. Giving away free food is against the cafe's policy and I can't make exceptions." Maria's eyes filled with tears. She tried to explain. "Please, sir, I was only trying to help someone in need. He is a veteran. Doesn't that matter?" Mr. Thompson looked away. "I'm sorry, Maria. I have to think about the business first." Maria packed her things quietly and said goodbye to her co-workers. Some of them looked sad and wished they could do something to help her. But Maria left the cafe with a heavy heart. Outside, the cold wind blew softly, and Maria looked back at the small building she had worked in for months. It had been more than a job to her. It was a place where she had found purpose. Word about Maria's firing spread quickly through the town. Many people were surprised and upset. They had seen how kind and caring she was. Some customers even stopped coming to the cafe in protest. At the local community center, a group of people talked about what had happened. "It's not right," said Mrs. Johnson, a retired teacher. "Maria did something good. We should support her." Others agreed. The town was small, and people knew each other well. They believed in helping those who helped others. Meanwhile, the old veteran was saddened by the news. He had come to see Maria as a friend, someone who cared when many others did not. Without her kindness, the cafe felt colder and less welcoming. One afternoon, 4 men walked into the town together. They were dressed in simple clothes, but their strong posture and serious faces told a story. They were Marines, men who had served their country and understood the meaning of loyalty and respect. These 4 Marines were regular customers at the cafe. They had seen Maria's kindness and had admired her from the beginning. When they heard that she was fired for feeding the old veteran, they felt angry and hurt. "We have to do something," said one Marine. "Maria did nothing wrong. She showed respect to a veteran just like we would." The others nodded. They decided to visit the cafe together. They wanted to meet with the manager, explain why Maria's actions were right, and ask for her to be rehired. When the Marines arrived at the cafe, the atmosphere changed. The other customers looked up, curious about the group of men entering with confidence. The Marines sat down and waited for the manager. Mr. Thompson came out to speak with them. He recognized the Marines and felt a little nervous. He knew these men were important in the community. The Marines spoke calmly but firmly. "Maria's kindness showed what this cafe should be about," said one. "We all serve our country and support each other. Firing her was a mistake." Mr. Thompson listened, but did not answer right away. He was under pressure, but he also respected the Marines. Outside, more people gathered. News of the Marines standing up for Maria spread quickly. The cafe became a place where people talked about respect, kindness, and community. The 4 Marines stayed strong, showing that standing up for what is right can make a difference. They did not shout or threaten, but their presence was enough to remind everyone that sometimes rules need to be reconsidered when kindness is involved. Maria heard about the Marines' visit from a friend. She felt a mix of hope and worry. She wished things could change, but did not know what would happen next. The town waited to see what Mr. Thompson would do. Many hoped he would understand that Maria's heart was in the right place. This moment was just the beginning of a bigger story, a story about kindness, courage, and standing together to protect what is good. The 4 Marines who had heard about Maria being fired were determined to help her. Each of them had served their country with honor, and they deeply respected the old veteran Maria had been feeding. To them, what Maria did was not just an act of kindness. It was a way to show respect to someone who had sacrificed so much. When they first learned of Maria's firing, they met together at a small park near the town square. They sat on a bench, discussing what to do next. "We can't let this go," said James, the oldest of the group. "She was helping a veteran. That's the kind of spirit we need in this town." Another Marine, David, nodded in agreement. "It's not just about Maria. It's about standing up for what's right. If we let the cafe treat her this way, it sends a message that kindness isn't welcome." The other 2, Michael and Chris, shared their thoughts. "We should talk to the manager again," Michael said. "But this time we need to bring the community's support." Chris smiled. "I know a few veterans and local leaders who will back us up. Let's show them that the whole town cares." With a plan in mind, the Marines began reaching out. They talked to other veterans, community members, and even some regular customers of the cafe. Everyone they spoke to was surprised and upset that Maria had been fired for such a simple and kind action. The veterans in particular felt hurt. Many of them remembered times when people had ignored or forgotten their service. Seeing Maria being punished for helping a veteran was difficult to accept. Soon, a group of veterans and townspeople agreed to support the Marines. They organized a meeting at the community center to discuss how to show their support for Maria and the old veteran she cared for. At the meeting, the room was filled with people from all walks of life, young and old, veterans and civilians. They all shared the same feeling, that Maria's kindness deserved to be recognized, not punished. One woman stood up to speak. "Maria showed us what it means to care for one another. This cafe should be proud to have someone like her. We need to stand with her and ask the manager to change his mind." Another man, a veteran himself, added, "We all serve to protect our country. It's important that we protect the values of kindness and respect at home too." The group decided to write letters to the cafe owner and to hold a peaceful gathering outside the cafe. They wanted to show that the community stood behind Maria and honored veterans like the old man she helped. Meanwhile, the 4 Marines prepared to return to the cafe. They planned to meet with the manager once again, this time with a group of supporters. Their goal was not to argue or create conflict, but to open a respectful conversation. When the day came, the Marines arrived early. dressed neatly but simply. Soon, veterans and community members gathered nearby, holding signs that read, "Support Maria, Kindness Matters, and Honor Our Veterans." Inside the cafe, Mr. Thompson noticed the growing crowd outside. He felt pressure building but remained firm in his position. The manager believed he was protecting the cafe's business, but he hadn't expected the community to come together like this. The Marines asked to speak with him privately once again. This time, their voices were calm but strong. "Mr. Thompson," James began, "we understand you have rules to follow, but sometimes kindness needs to come before rules." Maria's actions showed respect to a veteran and brought the community together. David added, "We've talked to many people and they all agree. This isn't just about one meal. It's about what kind of town we want to be." Mr. Thompson listened carefully. He was a man who valued order and business success, but he could see the respect the Marines had and the support growing outside his cafe. After a moment of silence, he said, "I never wanted to hurt anyone. Running a business is hard, but I don't want to lose the support of this community either." The conversation continued, and the Marines shared stories of their service and the importance of looking out for each other. They explained how small acts of kindness like Maria's helped veterans feel valued and remembered. Outside, the crowd waited patiently, hopeful that something would change. Word began to spread through the town that the Marines were standing up for Maria. Many people felt inspired by their courage and by the way they respected both the cafe and the community. The veterans especially appreciated how the Marines spoke up. It reminded them that they were not forgotten, and that there were people who cared deeply about their well-being. After a long discussion, Mr. Thompson promised to reconsider his decision. He agreed to meet with Maria and the group again to find a way to honor her kindness while maintaining the cafe's business. The Marines thanked him and told the crowd outside that they hoped for a positive outcome. The community's support had shown that kindness and respect could be powerful forces for change. Maria, hearing the news, felt a spark of hope. She had faced a difficult moment, but now she saw that she was not alone. The kindness she showed had grown into something bigger, a movement that brought people together. The old veteran smiled quietly from his corner table when he heard that Maria might return. He had found a friend in her and was touched by the love the town showed. In the days that followed, the cafe became more than just a place to eat. It became a symbol of respect, courage, and community spirit. The story of Maria and the Marines spread beyond the town. It reminded everyone that standing up for kindness was never wrong, and that even small acts could inspire great change. The day the four Marines decided to visit the cafe together was one that many in the town would remember. The morning was quiet and cool, with sunlight breaking through the clouds, making the small town look peaceful and bright. But inside the cafe, the mood was different. Maria had been fired and the town was watching closely to see what would happen next. The Marines, James, David, Michael, and Chris, walked into the cafe as a group. Their steps were calm but strong, their faces serious but kind. They were not there to cause trouble. Instead, they came to stand up for what they believed was right. Each of them had deep respect for the old veteran who had been helped by Maria, and they believed that Maria's kindness should be honored, not punished. Theater. Customers inside the cafe noticed the group immediately. Some whispered to each other. The staff looked a little nervous, knowing that something important was about to happen. Mr. Thompson, the manager, saw the Marines enter and felt a mixture of surprise and worry. He knew who they were, men who had served their country and were respected by many in the community. The Marines asked to speak with Mr. Thompson. He agreed and led them to his small office at the back of the cafe. The rest of the cafe remained quiet, with many customers watching from their tables. Once inside the office, the Marines spoke respectfully but clearly. James began, "Mr. Thompson, we have come here because we want to talk about Maria. We understand. She was fired for giving free food to an old veteran. We want you to know that we believe her actions were right." David added, "Maria's kindness showed respect and care for someone who served our country. We think that should be recognized, not punished." Mr. Thompson listened, his face serious. "I understand what you're saying," he replied. "But I have to run a business. I can't give food away for free without losing money." Michael spoke up. "We know business is important, but sometimes kindness is more important." Maria's actions brought people together. She reminded us what it means to care. Chris nodded. "We all served together, and we want to make sure the community supports each other." Maria was helping someone who gave a lot for all of us. The conversation continued calmly, but outside the cafe, the story was growing. More people had heard about the Marines' visit and decided to show their support. A small crowd gathered outside, holding simple signs with messages like, "Kindness matters," "Support Maria," and "Honor our veterans." Some local veterans joined the crowd, standing quietly but firmly. Their presence was powerful, reminding everyone that the story was about respect and gratitude for those who served. Inside, Mr. Thompson looked out the window at the growing crowd. He felt the pressure of the community's support for Maria. He realized that this was more than a business decision. It was about the heart of the town. After some thought, he said to the Marines, "I see that Maria's actions meant a lot to many people. I don't want to hurt the community or lose their trust." James replied, "We appreciate that, sir. We hope you'll think about bringing Maria back. She showed kindness that this town needs." Mr. Thompson nodded slowly. "I will talk to her. Maybe we can find a way to balance kindness with business." The Marines thanked him and left the office. They stepped outside where the crowd cheered softly, relieved and hopeful. The gathering outside became a peaceful celebration of community spirit. People shared stories about kindness, veterans, and the importance of standing together. The old veteran, who had been quietly sitting in the cafe, smiled as he saw the support for Maria. As the days passed, Mr. Thompson kept his promise. He invited Maria to return to the cafe. He explained that while business rules were important, he now understood that compassion and respect were just as necessary. Maria was overwhelmed with gratitude. She thanked the manager and the Marines for standing up for her. Her kindness, which had started as a simple act, had grown into something much bigger. The cafe slowly returned to its usual rhythm, but now with a new warmth in the air. Customers who had stopped coming returned, and new friendships formed. Maria continued to serve the old veteran and many others, her heart full of hope. The story of Maria and the Marines spread beyond the town. It reminded people everywhere that kindness can change lives, and that standing up for what is right can bring a community together. After Maria was invited back to the cafe, the mood inside changed completely. It felt warmer, brighter, and more welcoming than ever before. The manager, Mr. Thompson, realized that sometimes rules were important, but kindness and community were even more so. He had learned a valuable lesson from the Marines, the veterans, and the people of the town. Maria returned to work with a smile on her face. She was grateful not only to be back, but to know that people had stood up for her. She felt proud that her small act of kindness had made a big difference. Each day she served customers with care and continued to help the old veteran who had become a regular at the cafe. The old man, whose name was Mr. Lewis, had been quiet and tired when he first came to the cafe. But with Maria's kindness and the support of the community, he began to smile more often. He felt respected and remembered, something that made his days brighter. The Marines would sometimes stop by to check on him, bringing small gifts or just sharing stories over a cup of coffee. The town itself started to feel different. The story of Maria's kindness and the way the community had come together inspired many. People began to think more about helping others and showing respect, especially to those who had served the country. Local schools even invited Maria and the Marines to speak to students about kindness, respect, and the importance of standing up for what is right. Maria shared her story simply and honestly, encouraging young people to be caring and brave in their own lives. The Marines talked about their experiences in the military and how they had learned the value of loyalty and respect. They reminded the students that small actions could have great meaning and that everyone could make a difference. One day, the cafe organized a special event to honor veterans like Mr. Lewis. The whole town was invited. It was a beautiful sunny afternoon, and the cafe's outdoor area was decorated with flags and flowers. People from the community came together to celebrate. Mr. Thompson, who had once been strict and focused only on business, spoke at the event. He apologized for his earlier decisions and thanked Maria for teaching him about kindness. "This cafe is not just about food or money," he said. "It's about people and the heart of our community." Maria stood beside Mr. Thompson feeling proud and happy. She looked around and saw smiles, laughter, and a true sense of togetherness. The veterans were honored, and the town showed how much they cared. The 4 Marines, James, David, Michael, and Chris, were there too. They had become local heroes in a quiet way, not because they sought attention, but because they stood up for what was right. They shared stories and shook hands with many grateful people. As the event ended, Maria thought about the journey she had been on. From being fired for a simple act of kindness to seeing the whole community come together, it was more than she had ever hoped for. She realized that kindness could be powerful. It could change hearts, build friendships, and even heal old wounds. Maria knew that every small choice mattered. From that day forward, the cafe became a symbol of hope and respect. People who visited didn't just come for the food. They came to feel the kindness that filled the place. Maria continued her work, always remembering the lessons she had learned. She remained a friend to Mr. Lewis and many others in the town. The Marines visited often, and the community stayed, strong and caring. This story showed that when people stand up for what is right, when they show kindness without fear, they can create a better world for everyone.